Have you ever caught a faint whiff of roses or jasmine, lingering in the air even though you're nowhere near a garden? Maybe you're sitting in your living room or walking through a quiet park, and suddenly this sweet floral scent wraps around you like a gentle hug. It's fleeting, mysterious, and leaves you wondering, where did that come from? That moment, that unexpected fragrance, might just be more than a quirk of the senses. In many spiritual traditions, it's believed to be a sign, a whisper from angels, ancestors, or a divine presence trying to reach out to you. Today we're diving into this beautiful mystery, exploring what it means when you smell flowers where there are none, and how it can open your heart to something bigger, something sacred in a way that feels light, practical, and deeply personal. This conversation is for anyone who's ever felt a spark of curiosity about the unseen, or maybe sensed something beyond the ordinary but didn't know what to make of it. We'll weave through stories, insights, and simple ways to connect with these moments, drawing from the wisdom of Buddhism, Eastern spirituality, and the quiet mysticism that lives in everyday life. Whether you're new to this or have been exploring spirituality for years, there is something here for you, a chance to see your world with fresh eyes and an open heart. But before we begin, write in the comments, "The fragrance of compassion blooms in silence." That's a little Buddhist-inspired gem to set the tone for today. And if you stay until the end, I'll share a simple practice you can do tonight to invite these spiritual connections into your life. Something so easy, yet so powerful, it might just shift how you feel every day. Let's start with a story. Imagine you're a woman named Lila, sitting in your kitchen after a long day. The kids are asleep, the dishes are done, and you're just sipping tea, lost in thought. Suddenly, a soft scent of lavender drifts by, like someone opened a window to a field of flowers. But there's no lavender in your house, no candles, no air freshener. You pause, heart beating a little faster, because it feels like more than just a smell, it feels like a presence. In many cultures, this is seen as a sign that someone or something is trying to get your attention. Maybe it's an ancestor, offering comfort. Maybe it's an angel, nudging you to trust your path. In Buddhism, such moments are often tied to mindfulness, being so present that you notice the subtle ways the universe speaks. What's fascinating is how universal this experience is. Across the world, from ancient temples in Thailand to quiet churches in Europe, people report these phantom fragrances, roses, sandalwood, even lotus blossoms, as signs of divine or ancestral connection. It's like the universe has its own language, one that doesn't need words, just a scent to say you're not alone. Think about it. Smells are powerful. They bypass your busy mind and go straight to your soul, stirring memories, emotions, or even a sense of peace you didn't know you needed. When I was a kid, I'd visit my grandmother's house, and the smell of her jasmine tea would instantly make me feel safe. Maybe you have a scent like that too, one that feels like home, even if you can't explain why. So, what does it mean when you smell flowers out of nowhere? In spiritual traditions, it's often a signal that you're being visited, maybe by an angel guiding you, or an ancestor reminding you of your roots. In Buddhism, there's a belief that enlightened beings, or bodhisattvas, can manifest in subtle ways to offer compassion or wisdom. A sudden floral scent might be their way of saying, "Pay attention. There's something you need to see." It's not about seeing ghosts or hearing voices. It's about noticing the quiet, beautiful ways the universe reaches out. And you know what's most interesting about all this? It's that these moments often come when you need them most, when you're doubting yourself, feeling lost, or just craving a sign that you're on the right path. Let's pause on that for a second. Think about a time you felt something strange, something unexplained, a breeze, a scent, a sudden warmth. Maybe you brushed it off thinking it was nothing. But what if it wasn't? What if those moments are invitations to slow down, to listen, to feel connected to something bigger? In Eastern spirituality, there's this idea that everything is interconnected, like threads in a vast tapestry. A scent of flowers could be one of those threads, pulling you closer to the divine, to your ancestors, or even to your own intuition. It's not about forcing belief, it's about staying open, curious like a child noticing the world for the first time. And speaking of staying open, there's a simple way to start tuning into these signs without overthinking it. Tonight, before bed, try sitting quietly for just a minute. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and ask, silently, in your heart, who's here with me? Don't expect a booming voice or a clear answer. Just notice what you feel. Maybe it's a scent, maybe it's a memory, maybe it's just peace. That's the first step to recognizing these spiritual presences. It's not about chasing miracles, it's about being present enough to notice them. This leads us to another important point, which many people overlook. These signs aren't just random. They often show up when you're ready to hear something new or when you're at a crossroads in your life. Let us keep exploring this together. There is so much more to uncover about how these moments can guide you. You know how sometimes life feels like you running on a treadmill, moving fast but not really getting anywhere. It's in those moments when you're caught up in the rush or maybe feeling a bit stuck that the universe has a way of slipping in something unexpected, like a faint scent of flowers that stops you in your tracks. That's what we were diving into today, those mysterious floral fragrances that seem to come from nowhere, carrying messages from angels, ancestors, or even your own deeper self. Let's keep this conversation flowing, exploring how these signs show up and what they might mean for you, in a way that feels real and grounded, like chatting with a friend over coffee. Picture this. You're walking through a busy city street, headphones on, lost in your thoughts about work or bills, or what to make for dinner. Suddenly, there's this soft, unmistakable scent of lilies, like someone tucked a bouquet under your nose. You look around. No flowers, no perfume, just concrete and cars. It's gone as quickly as it came, but for a moment you feel lighter, like something inside you just exhaled. In spiritual traditions, especially in Eastern mysticism, moments like these are seen as gentle nudges from the divine. They're not loud or dramatic. They're subtle, like a whisper you only hear when you're ready to listen. What's so beautiful about this is how it ties into the idea of presence, a core piece of Buddhist teachings. Think about it. When you're fully in the moment, not worrying about yesterday or tomorrow, you start to notice things you'd normally miss. That scent of flowers. It might be an invitation to pause, to breathe, to check in with yourself. In many stories from Buddhist lore, enlightened beings are said to leave behind traces of fragrance, lotus, sandalwood, jasmine, as a sign of their compassion. It's like they're saying, "Hey, I see you. You're not alone in this." And isn't that what we all crave sometimes? A reminder that there's something bigger holding us. Let's make this practical. Imagine you're at home, maybe scrolling through your phone, feeling a little overwhelmed. You catch a whiff of something sweet, like gardenias, even though your windows are closed and it's the middle of winter. Instead of brushing it off, try this. Take a deep breath and let yourself feel the moment. Ask yourself, what was I just thinking about? Maybe you were worrying about a decision or missing someone you've lost. That scent could be a sign that you're being guided or comforted or even reminded to trust yourself. In spirituality, especially in traditions like Buddhism, these signs often come when you're at a turning point, when you're ready to let go of something old or step into something new. Here's a story to bring this home. A friend of mine, Sarah, was going through a tough time after losing her mom. One evening, she was sitting in her backyard, feeling heavy and alone, when she suddenly smelled her mom's favorite rose perfume. There were no roses nearby, no neighbors burning candles, just this clear, vivid scent. For Sarah, it felt like her mom was there saying, "I'm still with you." That moment didn't fix everything, but it gave her a spark of peace, a reason to keep going. In many spiritual beliefs, ancestors use these subtle signs to offer love or guidance, especially when you're struggling to find your way. And speaking of guidance, there is something else to consider. These scents aren't always about someone else reaching out. Sometimes they're a reflection of your own intuition waking up. In Eastern spirituality, there's this idea that your soul has its own language, and it speaks through things like smells, dreams, or sudden feelings of calm. When you smell flowers out of nowhere, it might be your inner self saying, "Pay attention to this moment. There's wisdom here." Maybe it's nudging you to make a choice you've been avoiding, or to forgive yourself for something you've been carrying. So how do you lean into this? One simple way is to start noticing patterns. Next time you catch a phantom scent, jot down where you were, what you were feeling, or what was happening in your life. You don't need a fancy journal, just a note on your phone. Over time, you might see connections, like the scent showing up when you re-stressed or when you were thinking about someone you love. This isn't about forcing answers. It's about letting the mystery unfold like petals opening one by one. And you know what's really cool about all this? It is that these experiences do not require you to be a spiritual guru or meditate for hours. They're part of being human, part of living in a world that's always speaking to us if we're willing to listen. This brings us to another piece of the puzzle, something that can make these moments even more meaningful. Let's keep going and see how this all comes together. Ever have one of those days where you're just going through the motions, maybe feeling a little disconnected, and then something small, like a sudden scent of flowers, pulls you back to yourself? It's like the universe taps you on the shoulder saying, "Hey, wake up. There's more to this moment." We're diving deeper into this idea of smelling flowers where there are none, exploring how these mysterious fragrances might be messages from angels, ancestors, or even your own spirit guiding you towards something meaningful. Let's keep this conversation flowing, like we're sitting together, unraveling a mystery that feels both ancient and personal. Imagine you're in a quiet moment. Maybe you're reading a book, or just staring out a window, lost in thought. Out of nowhere, a soft scent of jasmine floats by, delicate and unmistakable. It's not coming from anywhere you can see, no flowers, no incense, just this fleeting fragrance. Your first instinct might be to shrug it off. But what if you leaned into it instead? In Buddhist teachings, moments like these are often seen as invitations to mindfulness, a chance to pause and notice what's happening inside you. It is not about chasing mystical experiences. It is about being open to the idea that the world is always speaking in ways we don't always understand. What's so intriguing is how these scents often feel personal. Let's say you smell lilacs, and it reminds you of your grandmother's garden, where you used to play as a kid. That scent might not just be a random memory. It could be her way of reaching out, offering a reminder of love or strength. In many spiritual traditions, ancestors are believed to linger close, especially when you're facing a challenge or need a nudge to keep going. I heard a story once about a man named Javier who was struggling with a big career decision. One morning, while sitting in his car, he smelled his late father's favorite cologne, a mix of cedar and citrus, right there in the driver's seat. No one else had been in the car and he hadn't used that scent in years. For Javier, it felt like his dad was saying, "Trust yourself, you've got this." That moment gave him the courage to take a leap he'd been hesitating on. But here is the thing, these signs don't always mean the same thing for everyone. In Eastern spirituality, there's this beautiful idea that the universe tailors its messages to you, like a song written just for your heart. If you smell roses, it might mean something different than if you smell lavender or sandalwood. Roses might carry a message of love or compassion, often tied to divine figures like bodhisattvas or angels in various traditions. Sandalwood, common in Buddhist rituals, might be a call to inner peace or meditation. The key is to trust your intuition. What does the scent make you feel? Does it bring up a memory, a person, or just a sense of calm? That's where the magic lies. Here's a simple way to play with this. Next time you catch one of these phantom scents, take a moment to close your eyes and breathe it in. Ask yourself, what's this moment trying to tell me? You don't need to force an answer. Just let your mind wander. Maybe you'll feel a sense of comfort, or maybe a question you've been wrestling with will suddenly feel clearer. In spirituality, especially in mysticism, these moments are like little doorways, inviting you to step into a deeper connection with yourself and the world around you. And speaking of connection, there is something else that is so powerful about these experiences. They remind us we are part of something bigger. In Buddhism, there's this concept of interdependence. Everything and everyone is linked like ripples in a pond. A scent of flowers might be a ripple from an ancestor, an angel, or even your own soul, reminding you that you're never truly alone. It's like the universe is saying, "I've got you even when you can't see me." That's not just comforting, it's empowering. It means you can face whatever's in front of you, knowing there's support in ways you might not expect. This brings us to another layer of this mystery, something that can help you not just notice these signs, but actually invite them into your life. It's simpler than you might think. And it's all about creating space for the sacred in your everyday routine. Let's keep exploring how this all fits together. You ever notice how some moments just feel different? Like when you're rushing through your day, juggling a million things, and then, out of nowhere, a soft scent of flowers hits you, stopping you dead in your tracks. First, like the world slows down, and for a second everything feels a little clearer, a little more connected. We were diving deeper into this idea that smelling flowers where there are none might be a spiritual presence, maybe angels, ancestors, or even your own intuition reaching out. Let's keep this conversation flowing, like we're sharing stories over a warm fire, unraveling how these moments can light up your life in ways you might not expect. Picture yourself in a quiet park, maybe on a crisp autumn afternoon. The leaves are crunching under your feet, and your mind spinning with worries, work, family, the usual chaos. Then, like a gift, you catch a whiff of honeysuckle, sweet and fleeting, even though there's not a flower in sight. It's not just a smell. It's a feeling, like someone's gently squeezing your hand saying, "It's going to be okay." In spiritual traditions, especially in Buddhism and Eastern mysticism, these moments are seen as sacred pauses, little cracks in the everyday where the divine slips through. They're not random. They often show up when you need a reminder to trust, to breathe, to let go. Let's talk about why these scents feel so personal. Say you smell gardenias, and it takes you back to your childhood, to summer evenings at your aunt's house, where she'd tell you stories under a starry sky. That scent might be more than nostalgia. It could be your aunt, or even a guardian spirit, dropping by to remind you of your own resilience. In many cultures, ancestors are believed to use signs like these to bridge the gap between worlds, offering guidance or love when you're navigating something tough. I heard about a woman named Priya, who was doubting her decision to move across the country. One night while journaling, she smelled her grandfather's favorite sandalwood incense. No incense was burning, but the scent was so vivid it brought tears to her eyes. For her, it was a sign to keep going, like her grandfather was cheering her on from the other side. What is so cool about this is how it doesn't require you to be a spiritual expert. You don't need to meditate for hours or know ancient rituals. It's about being open, like leaving a window cracked for a breeze to come through. In Buddhist teachings, there's this idea of beginner's mind, approaching life with curiosity without overthinking. When you smell flowers out of nowhere, try treating it like a little adventure. Ask yourself, what's this moment about? Maybe it's a nudge to call someone you've been meaning to reconnect with, or to take a risk you've been avoiding. The answers don't have to be big. They can be as simple as rest or you re enough. Here's a way to make this part of your life. Try setting a small intention each morning, nothing fancy, just a quiet thought like, "I'm open to the signs around me today." Then, go about your day, but stay a little more aware. Notice if a scent catches you off guard, or if something else, like a song or a sudden feeling, feels like a message. You can even keep a tiny notebook or use your phone to jot down these moments. Over time, you might start seeing patterns, like certain scents showing up when you're re-stressed or when you're about to make a big decision. It's like building a relationship with the universe, one small moment at a time. And speaking of relationships, there's something really beautiful about how these signs connect us to something bigger. In Eastern spirituality, there's this idea that everything is part of a vast web. Your thoughts, your actions, even the air you breathe. Her scent of flowers might be a thread in that web, linking you to your ancestors, to divine beings, or to parts of yourself you've forgotten. It's a reminder that you're never truly alone, even when life feels heavy. That's not just a nice thought. It has a spark that can change how you move through your day. This leads us to another piece of this puzzle, something that can help you not just notice these signs, but actually deepen your connection to them. It's about creating space for the sacred in a way that's so simple you can start today. Let's keep going and see how this unfolds. You know those moments when life feels like it's moving too fast, like you're trying to catch your breath but the world just keeps spinning? And then, out of nowhere, you catch a scent of flowers, maybe roses or lavender, where there shouldn't be any. And it's like the universe hits pause just for you. We're re-diving deeper into this idea that these mysterious floral fragrances might be more than a quirk. They could be angels, ancestors, or even your own spirit whispering something important. Let's keep this conversation going, like we're sharing a quiet moment together, piecing together what these signs mean and how they can light up your everyday life. Imagine you're in your bedroom, late at night, maybe wrestling with a decision or just feeling the weight of the day. You are flipping through a book or scrolling on your phone when a soft scent of jasmine drifts by, so clear it feels like someone's standing right there. It's gone in a second, but it leaves you with this warm, unexplainable sense of calm. In spiritual traditions, especially in Buddhism and Eastern mysticism, these moments are like little love notes from the universe. They're not loud or flashy, they're gentle, like a friend who knows exactly when you need a kind word. These scents might be a way for angels or ancestors to say, "You're seen, you're supported. Let's bring this to life with a story." There's this guy, Marcus, who was going through a rough patch, job stress, family tension, the works. One afternoon, while sitting in his office, he smelled his late sister's favorite peony perfume. It was so vivid he checked under his desk, thinking maybe a co-worker had dropped something. Nothing. But that scent brought back memories of his sister's laugh, her way of making everything feel lighter. For Marcus, it was like she was there, reminding him to keep his heart open, to not let stress swallow him whole. In many spiritual beliefs, ancestors use signs like these to offer comfort, especially when you're feeling lost or overwhelmed. What's so special about this is how it invites you to trust your own experience. In Buddhist teachings, there's this idea of direct knowing, experiencing something without overanalyzing it. When you smell flowers out of nowhere, you don't need a textbook to tell you it's meaningful. It's about what it stirs in you. Does it make you feel loved? Does it nudge you toward a memory or a choice you've been avoiding? Maybe it's a reminder to slow down, to breathe, to let go of something you've been holding too tightly. The beauty is, you don't have to figure it all out right away. You just have to stay open like a door left ajar for a breeze to slip through. Here's a simple way to lean into this. Try creating a tiny ritual, not something complicated, just a moment to connect. Before you start your day, light a candle if you're into that, or just sit quietly for a minute. Take a deep breath and say to yourself, "I'm open to whatever wants to reach me today." Then, as you go about your routine, pay attention to little things, a scent, a feeling, a coincidence. If you catch a floral fragrance, pause and notice what's happening. Were you thinking about someone, feeling stuck? That moment might be a clue, a little arrow pointing you toward clarity or peace. And here's where it gets really interesting. These signs aren't just about comfort. They can be about growth too. In Eastern spirituality, there's this belief that the universe is always guiding you toward your highest self, even when you can't see the path. A scent of flowers might show up when you're on the verge of a breakthrough, like a quiet cheerleader saying, "You're almost there." It's like the universe knows you're ready to step into something new, even if you're not sure you are. Maybe it's a new job, a new relationship, or just a new way of seeing yourself. These moments are invitations to trust that process. This brings us to another layer of this mystery, something that can help you not just notice these signs, but actually weave them into your life in a way that feels natural and empowering. It's about making space for these connections without needing to force them. Let's keep exploring how this all comes together and what it means for you moving forward. Sometimes life feels like you're navigating a foggy road. You're moving forward, but it's hard to see what's next. Then, out of nowhere, a scent of flowers cuts through, like a ray of sunlight, making you pause and wonder if something bigger is at play. We were diving deeper into this idea that smelling flowers where there are none might be a spiritual presence, angels, ancestors, or even your own inner wisdom trying to guide you. Let's keep this conversation flowing, like we're sitting on a porch swing, sharing stories that make the world feel a little more magical and connected. Picture this. You're at a coffee shop, scribbling in a notebook, or just staring out the window, lost in thought. Maybe you're wrestling with a big life question. What's my next step? Am I on the right path? Suddenly, a soft scent of lilacs drifts by, so clear it feels like someone's holding a bouquet nearby. You glance around. No flowers, no perfume, just the hum of the cafe. But that scent lingers in your heart, stirring something deep, like a memory or a feeling of being held. In spiritual traditions, especially in Buddhism and Eastern mysticism, these moments are seen as gentle reminders that you're not alone, that something, whether it's an angel, an ancestor, or the universe itself, is reaching out to you. Let's ground this with a story. There's a woman named Aisha who was feeling stuck in a job that drained her. One evening, while walking her dog in her neighborhood, she smelled her late mother's favorite rosewater scent. It was so vivid, she stopped in her tracks, looking for a source. Nothing. But in that moment, she felt a wave of courage, like her mum was saying, "You're stronger than you think." Aisha took it as a sign to finally apply for a new job, one that felt more aligned with her heart. In many spiritual beliefs, these scents are like bridges, connecting you to guidance or love from beyond, especially when you're at a crossroads. What's so beautiful about this is how it invites you to trust the unseen. In Buddhist teachings, there's this idea of impermanence, everything changes, but there's also a deeper current of connection that never fades. A scent of flowers might be part of that current, a reminder that you're woven into something vast, something eternal. It is not about having all the answers or proving anything. It is about letting yourself feel the mystery, like dipping your toes into a cool stream on a hot day. That scent might be an angel nudging you to keep going, an ancestor offering wisdom, or even your own soul saying, "Listen, you've got this." Here's a way to make this part of your life without overcomplicating it. Try setting aside a moment each day to just be, maybe when you wake up or before bed. You don't need candles or incense, though those are nice. Just sit quietly, take a few deep breaths and think, "I'm open to whatever's here for me." Then, as you go through your day, stay curious. If you catch a floral scent or any unexpected sign, pause and check in with yourself. What were you thinking about? What's weighing on you? That moment might hold a clue, like a breadcrumb leading you somewhere important. You can even whisper a quiet thank you, not to anyone specific, but to the mystery itself. And here is where it gets really exciting. These signs aren't just about comfort, they're about possibility. In Eastern spirituality, there's this belief that the universe is always conspiring to help you grow, to move toward joy and purpose. A scent of flowers might show up when you were ready to take a leap, maybe to forgive someone, to try something new, or to let go of a fear that's been holding you back. It's like the universe is cheering you on, saying, "You're closer than you think." These moments are invitations to step into your own power, one small brave choice at a time. This leads us to the final piece of this journey, something that ties it all together and gives you a way to bring this magic into your everyday life. It's not about perfection, it's about showing up, staying open, and letting these signs guide you towards something beautiful. Let's wrap this up together. You ever have one of those moments where the world feels heavy, like you're carrying too much, and then something small, like a sudden scent of flowers, shifts everything, making you feel lighter, like you're not alone? We've been exploring this beautiful idea that smelling flowers where there are none might be a spiritual presence, angels, ancestors, or your own deep wisdom reaching out to guide you. Let's bring this conversation to a close like we're wrapping up a heart-to-heart with a friend, tying together these threads into something you can carry forward, something that feels real and doable. Imagine you're at home, maybe tidying up, or just sitting with a cup of tea, when a soft scent of lavender brushes past, gentle but unmistakable. There's no candle, no flowers, just this quiet moment that feels like a hug from the universe. It's like a reminder that you're part of something bigger, something that sees you, even when you're feeling small. In Buddhist teachings, there's this idea of awakening, not some grand, unattainable state, but a slow, steady opening to the beauty and connection all around you. That scent might be a spark of that awakening, a nudge to trust the journey you're on. Let's make this personal with one last story. There's a guy named Leo who was grappling with grief after losing his best friend. One morning, while sitting in his backyard, he smelled his friend's favorite eucalyptus scent. Sharp, clean, and so vivid, it stopped him cold. No plants, no oils, just air. For Leo, it felt like his friend was there saying, "Keep living, keep laughing." That moment didn't erase the pain, but it gave him a reason to smile, to take one step forward. In spiritual traditions, these signs are like anchors, grounding you in love and possibility when life feels unsteady. To close this cycle, there's something few people actually put into practice, but it can completely change how you experience these moments. It's about creating space for them. You don't need to be perfect or have it all figured out. Start small. Maybe each evening, take a minute to sit quietly, no phone, no distractions. Breathe deeply and think, I'm here, I'm listening. You're not forcing anything. You're just opening a door. If a scent comes, or a feeling, or even just a sense of peace, let it be enough. Over time, these moments can become like friends, showing up when you need them most, guiding you toward clarity, courage, or just a little more hope. You don't have to do everything at once. The important thing is to start at your own pace and keep evolving. Maybe it's noticing that scent of roses when you're stressed, or feeling a warmth when you think of someone you've lost. These are your signs, your language with the universe. Trust them, even if they're small. They're like seeds. Plant them with attention, and they'll grow into something beautiful. If any part of what I said today made sense to you, let me know in the comments. I love hearing what you're experiencing, what these moments mean to you. And of course, if you want more conversations like this, subscribe to the channel. It really helps keep this going. As promised, here's that simple practice for tonight. Before bed, sit for a minute, breathe, and say to yourself, I'm open to love, to guidance, to peace. Then notice what happens, not just tonight, but in the days to come. It's not about forcing miracles, it's about letting them find you. Remember, you don't need big changes to live better. Sometimes it's a small choice, a pause, a breath, a moment of trust that ignites everything. You deserve that spark, that connection, that quiet magic. You're already on the path. If you made it to the end of this video, comment below, I'm in. Just so I know you stuck with me and that you're ready to let these moments light your way.